Today is Sunday, October 19th, and this is another update on my progress of beating the S&P 500 along with Bill Ackman's Pershing Square holdings. I do make these updates every Sunday, so if you want to follow along, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and let's get into it. Last week, my portfolio had a gain of 2.74%, Pershing Square had a loss of 0.08, and the S&P 500 had a gain of 1.7, which brings us year to date. My portfolio is at a gain of 29.02, Pershing Square is at a gain of 25.13, and the S&P 500 is at a gain of 13.55. If we take a look at the events calendar for this week, you'll see that the only thing we have is on Friday with the consumer price index. This was originally supposed to be released last week, but due to the government shutdown, it got delayed by a week. For the earnings calendar this week, you'll see that we definitely got a lot going on with 17 reporting in total. Tuesday will be the biggest day with Netflix, Capital One, and then we get RTX, Northrop Grumman, and Lockheed Martin. Then we get General Electric, 3M, along with Mattel that day as well. Wednesday, we get the biggest out of all 17 reporting with Tesla, and we also get Hilton Hotels that day as well. Thursday, we get Amazon, Ford, American Airlines, Hasbro, and Darling Ingredients. We wrap it up Friday with General Dynamics along with Procter & Gamble. So for this week, Tesla is going to be the biggest one to watch, which again reports on Wednesday. If we take a look at the SPY chart, you'll see that, like I mentioned earlier, it did have a gain of 1.7% this week. It still has a little ways to go before reaching the all-time high levels, which it saw on October 8th, but it's definitely recovered nicely from the sell-off that we saw last Friday. To reach the highs that we saw on October 8th, the SPY price would have to have an increase of 1.33%. If we take a look at the 5 and the 15-day moving average, they're all pretty much exactly in the same spot, but we do have the SPY price on top with the 15 in the middle and the 5-day on the bottom. So if the markets do well this week, it should only take a few days for the 5-day to get back above the 15, and then it'll be right where we want it, where we end up seeing the most gains, which is the SPY price on top, the 5-day in the middle, and the 15 all the way on the bottom. If we go ahead and zoom out, I do think that the sell-off that we just saw is very similar to the most recent ones that we have seen already. And after every single one of those dips, at least so far, the market has gone higher. And with 2 Fed rate cuts incoming, I don't see why the market can't do that again. Especially with so many companies reporting, I do think that the market should have a pretty good week. These are going to be all 14 of my current positions. Right now, Nvidia, Microsoft, Palantir, Mind Medicine, and Meta make on my top 5, and those make up 44.17% of my portfolio. My biggest gainer this week was definitely Mind Medicine, which saw a gain of 15.58%, which brings my total gains to 82.87. And that move this week now bumps it up into my number 4 position. Sprouts Farmers Market saw a gain of 8.8%, which now puts my loss at only 24.31%. I was going to add more to that position, a dollar cost average, but I think I'm going to wait to see if this rebound continues or not. For my other positions, I don't have any desire to make any changes, and I'm going to wait to see what everything looks like after this week and take it from there. I do have 91.3% of my portfolio invested, which leaves me with 8.7% sitting in cash. That's going to do it for today. I do make these updates every Sunday, so if you want to follow along, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you next Sunday.